What is going on? I am zmot, also known as a non-moose on the archipelago, and I suppose on YouTube as well. Anyways, this is the dev build. We've got 1 million bajillion diamonds. We have 10 glowing purple statues, and the reason for that, you don't want to do this in the regular game. The reason for that is we have the rocket choppas on the main base. Now, this is a bit of a weird one. The game says that you're not supposed to get these unless you have HQ 20, but you can actually get them at HQ 14. So this sneak peek is going to be full of information, but some of it might be incorrect because we are on the dev build. So I honestly don't know what's going to happen. The low level rocket choppas are going to have 1450 health right about in here. At the lowest possible level, they'll have 1450. That is at HQ level 14. Then they're going to scale all the way up depending on game details, I suppose. All the information I can see says that they should have 1950, but as you can see here, they have 2000 health. So honestly, this is a bit of a conundrum. I'm a bit at a loss here, so we're going to have to wait and see. Now, one thing to be aware of, as this is the dev build, as you can see here, we have the tiny shock. You are probably not going to get an overlap between the tiny shock and the rocket choppas. Just wanted to make that very, very clear. Dev build is very different than the real build. So I can give you the best chance, the best information that I have available to me, but it's still dev build. And so when I have 1 million diamonds here, it really doesn't mean much. Anyways, let's get into it. We're going to attack name here. This person is actually my other account on the dev build. What I wanted to show you is just how wonderfully amazing these rocket choppas are. Now, if you've never ever played warships, then shame on you or good for you. I'm not sure whether to congratulate you or shame you. Anyways, these rocket choppas are fairly interesting because they can just skip over anything. Mine's completely irrelevant. Now, one thing you can't really see here is we have no idea which of these buildings do target our rocket choppas and which ones don't. So it's going to be a little bit difficult when these things come to the main base because it feels a little bit half-baked. The rocket choppas, when you look at them on warships, it'll actually show you explicitly which buildings are going to target them. On the main base and on operations, we have no way of knowing unless you click on every single base. Now, one thing to be aware of, every single building I should say, one thing to be aware of is, as you can see there, as rocket choppas die, they drop 2 Zookas. Now, those Zookas will follow flares and all the rest. But now look at this. See how it's sitting outside the map? That is the #1 thing to take away. One other thing to take away. Look how ridiculous. These things are shooting backwards. That happens for whatever reason. I think it's because they're outside the confines of the map. They start attacking backwards. Not super duper relevant. The important part is that these are essentially flying Zookas. They do a bunch of damage. They have a bunch of range, and they shoot fairly quickly. So they're going to do somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 damage per shot, and they're going to shoot every 1.5 seconds or so. Now, those kind of details, you can get some of them by clicking in the armory and clicking on the eye next to them. They'll show you the movement speed. It'll show you their range. Now, I've done one step better. I'm going to show you their actual range. Their actual range is 9.5 tiles. Now, that means they're going to outrun range machine guns. They're going to outrange boom surprises and hot pots and all the rest. But you're going to run into troubles when it comes to cannons. So be aware. Now, when I say that, when I say they outrange flamethrowers, they also outrange mortars because mortars don't see them. I want to show you one more thing. If we click on Scout here, you can click on every single building and it'll actually tell you, does not target air. Now, it doesn't actually say does not target air, but if you click on the boom cannon, it says targets flying. So that's all you really need to do is click on all of these things and you'll see targets flying. If it doesn't target flying, then you are good to go. So those of you who have a certain specific base layout, I would suggest going through your base and seeing maybe you like to have all flamethrowers and mortars next to your headquarters. Not going to be super awesome against flying helicopters because they're just going to completely and utterly ignore that. Now, let's move forward. I want to show you a couple more details. Now, these rocket choppas are going to be there's going to be some very, very cool things come of them. I don't know entirely what those are because I'm just one dude sitting in his office trying to figure this stuff out with like 10 minutes notice. Let's have a look at Outworks. Outworks is one that I want to show you simply because I've got this feeling, that it just feels like it's going to be something good. Now, why I think that is because you see this gap? I feel like we should be able to get 8 shield generators in some magical world. I don't know if that's actually going to be possible or not, but what we can do is we can get Bullet over into this corner, then we can flare all the way back here. This is not the part that matters. Right now, we're just going to throw a couple smokes. By the way, you can actually smoke rocket choppas as long as they are inside the confines of the map. You cannot smoke them when they step outside the map because you can't throw smokes out there. As you can see, if I click out here, nothing happens. It just says invalid location. We are now going to flare this shield generator, and we're going to shock these rockets over, in these cannons over here, I should say. As you can see here, Cannon's doing good things, Cannon's doing good things. That's not the part I care about. The part I care about is watch this. We are going to completely and utterly cut the corner. Look at this. Going outside the map. And where did our Zookas go? No Zookas came anywhere to be found. And now we can just fly outside the map, hang out here, and completely and utterly take out those shield generators. I don't know if it's going to work or if it's going to be a possibility or anything like that, but there's going to be some sort of operation attack or PvP attack where you can fly outside the lines. And if we actually, you know what, I'm going to flare back in here. And then if you flare that shield generator there, they're actually going to back up. You'll notice they back up outside the map yet again. There's all sorts of possibilities here. If you find a fantastic operation attack, please do let me know. We have seen, as you can see, all of these mortars can't see it. The shock launchers can't see it. All we have to worry about is these rocket launchers. Now, rocket launchers will take them down fairly quickly. As you can see here, not doing a ton of damage because I have 10 GBE statues. If we had some troop health statues, might be slightly different, but I wanted to make sure we had more than enough gunboat energy that we could fly across and see what the heck we can do. Now, as you can see, as soon as that flare expired on that shield generator, that rocket choppa decided, nope, I'm going to start taking down that mortar, which did not do anything good for us. I talked about getting 8 shield generators. We managed to get a total of 0. Now, as you see this rocket choppa fall, we're going to get 2 Zookas. Those Zookas are going to get almost that 1 shield generator. We almost got 1 out of 8. So I know I was talking super tough, like we were going to get 8 shield generators, like these things are super amazing and magical. There is going to be some cool stuff here. I just don't entirely know what it is. Again, this is the dev build, so now we're stuck waiting for our operation attack to end. The dev build is not something fun to play on. I know every single video I put out, you guys say, how do I download this? Where's the APK? Spoiler alert, it's not awesome. We're going to pause quickly here as, there we go, error out of sync, game crashed, yay, dev build, not super awesome. Anyways, we're going to reload our troops. We're going to spend diamonds because, hey, we've got 1,000,000 of them. If you're planning on buying 1,000,000 diamonds, please come over here in this creator code, throw the word zmot in, case does not matter, Z or Z, M-O-T, click OK. That almost rhymed. That was almost as if I planned it. We're going to do one more attack on our base right here, just because I really want to see if we can send them somewhere wonky, just to see. Realistically, all we can really do is send them over top of this corner, I think. As you can see here, they can cut that corner. Maps do not matter to rocket choppas. Now, like I said, they're kind of weak. Any of you who have played warships are very, very familiar with them. It's going to be a little bit different game because obviously we are not playing warships at the moment, which some of you will be super duper thankful for. I'm not quite sure why warships get so much hate, but Rocket Choppa is going to be interesting. See how they pop out and they're actually out. I thought they would outrange that machine gun. Turns out they did not. Very, very low on health, but they're going to pound away. They're going to do some damage, and when they blow up, they're going to drop Zukas. Now, the other thing to be aware of is the only way to upgrade these things to get more damage, to get more health, and all of those sorts of details is by completing Dr. T, completing Hammerman attacks, completing War Factory. So as see that flare expired, all of a sudden they start shooting backwards towards that machine gun. So you do need to be aware they do target similar to cryo bombardiers, also similar to scorchers in the fact that they just lose concentration, forget what they're supposed to be doing, and then target the nearest defense. So not it. As long as you're aware of that, it's not a big deal at all. But for the first time you see that, you're like, what the heck are you doing? So anyways, that is my sneak peek on Rocket Choppas. Not entirely sure what the best troop combos are going to be for using them or what the best hero is going to be. So let me know in the comments which hero you're looking forward to using them with. Probably going to be something like maybe heavy Rocket Choppa is my only guess, and possibly using Brick with them. There are so many options. Basically, they're just flying Zukas that are going to completely and utterly make mines irrelevant because they're flying. So, shock launchers, mortars, flamethrowers, I believe those are the two biggest ones that are not going to target them. So, make sure you redesign your base, especially if you rely on flamethrowers, shock launchers, or mortars. Anyways, that's it for me. That is my sneak peek on the Rocket Choppas. They cost 4 GBE to drop. Now, it doesn't matter what level they are 4 GBE, whether you're at HQ 14 or you're at HQ 23. So be careful where you drop them, or they're going to get shot down by a boom cannon, as I quickly displayed there. And where they fall, if they fall off the map, then you're not going to get any Zukas for it. You've probably seen that in warships, if you've played warships at all, but if they fall when they're off the map, most of the time, I can't say 100%, but you're just not going to get Zukas for it. So if you're going to cut that corner, be aware you are putting your Rocket Choppas at risk. You want the Zukas to drop. Realistically, those Zukas, please, if you have an attack where your last living Zuka, if your last Rocket Choppa explodes, and a Zuka falls down and blows up the core, please send me that replay. I need to see it. Now, just like any other troop that costs GBE, we're going to sit here. 37 seconds later, please hit retreat. I know there's a small chance that your opponent's online, but at this point, just click retreat because there's nothing else you can do, and there goes your attack. Anyways, that is my sneak peek on Rocket Choppas. I'm very, very curious to see if people are going to find them to be useful or useless, because the Proto Troops have been somewhere in between. We had the engineers that were garbage, and then we had all sorts of good stuff after the fact. I'm still waiting for the incinerators to come. I can't wait to see if those beastly scorcher things burn in 3 different directions and are twice as big, and I'm just curious and interested. Anyways, as always, this has been a sneak peek brought to you by me, zmot. Thanks for coming in. Peace!